Hello and welcome to our continuing coverage of the 2023 Governorship and State House of Assembly elections holding across the country. I am Simisola Adigun. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has postponed Saturday's Governorship and House of Assembly elections in 10 polling units in the Victoria Garden City, Lekki area in the state. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner for Lagos State, Segun Agbaje, made this known when he addressed reporters at the VGC on Saturday. Agbaje said members of the National Youth Service Corps deployed as ad hoc staff in the area were hesitant to enter the VGC estate, where they alleged they were held hostage in the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections. Agbaje said the ad hoc staff instead set up voting materials in front of the estate, but residents of the estate said they did not feel secure owing to the fear of hoodlums' invasion and disruption of the process, and therefore could not cast their votes. He said the situation was beyond the security agents present, hence he and his team had to visit the area. Accreditation and voting in Ikeja, Lagos State began early at some polling stations on Saturday. While the process was peaceful at some units, violence erupted at others. According to witnesses who spoke to TV360 Nigeria, the incident, which happened at about 11:30 a.m., disrupted the exercise as voters scampered for safety. There's more details in this report. Unlike the February 25 presidential elections, where there was a huge turnout of voters, polling units in Ikeja had few voters on ground to cast their ballots for the governorship and houses of assembly elections. Residents who cast their ballot attributed the low number of voters to the citizens' lack of trust in the system.
We are hoping that things will go fine, as we expected it to be. But nevertheless, I came here, the beavers did not give me any problem. I casted my vote and we are hoping for better results.
At both polling units at the State Primary School Dairy Farm Complex, voters commended the peaceful conduct of the exercise.
The presidential, we have more electorate, unlike the governorship election, where we are few here, but of course the turnout is not too bad though, but I think it's still okay.
It's been peaceful. Even when we had the presidential election, it was quite peaceful. The only thing I noticed today is I think a lot of people didn't exactly come out, or maybe people had come out earlier before I came. I wouldn't know that, but so far so good. It's been okay. The beavers has been working perfectly, no hitches, no hassles, nothing.
The story was, however, different at a polling unit in Allen Avenue, where there was a case of voter intimidation. A few moments into the voting exercise here at Allen Ikeja, polling unit 006 to be precise, voters say they were attacked by unknown residents of the area who came in large numbers and started throwing stones at them. And then the activity had to stop, voters dispersed, and then came back later on when the situation had been sorted out.
While we were standing on the queue, a guy picked up a stone, one of the thugs picked up a stone and threw at one of the electoral observers. Because they were trying to interview other people, they threw stones at them and started beating them. I was trying to make a video of it. I was warned. In fact, I have a screenshot of the person who warned me, but he's wearing nose and face mask. So I stopped, and by the time they were done doing what they were doing on this side, all the fight and all the arguments, those guys left, and every other person left, all the armed people, everybody left. As soon as they left, they started throwing stones at us on the queue. One of the stones landed on my leg and I went home. One woman's head was broken.
This place was very peaceful. I believe that it was targeted because of the candidate that won in this polling unit in the previous presidential election. So I believe that this place was targeted because of that, because it was fairly peaceful. And me, I am bothered because this is Ikeja Allen. It is not far from the State House. I mean, it's less than 10 minutes drive to the government.
The coastal boss brought most of them. And we just started seeing some of them were nuns and coming down, and people were wondering where actually they are coming from. Some of the youths around here got infuriated about that, and That was so that they are saying that talks, they were not talks. Most of the guys that chased those people away were the youth, the young residents of this area who felt, could you come from far place? Last election, they were actually harbored in various hotels.
I think we need more security because the next time they will come here is when votes will be counted, and that's going to be really bad because at that time a lot of people will be vulnerable. So we need to call up for more backup, security backup, especially when votes will be counted.
The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is vying for a second term in office, is in the contest with a number of candidates, including Gbadebo Rhodes Viva of the Labour Party and Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Simisola Adigun, TV360, Lagos. Mixed reactions have trailed the voter turnout in the governorship and Houses of Assembly elections in Lagos State. Some of the polling units covered by TV360 Nigeria on the island and on the mainland show a huge difference in the turnout recorded during the presidential election in February 25, 2023. In Surulere, the polling unit visited had scanty voters who stayed back after voting to see to the end of the exercise. A member of the ruling party in the state bears his mind on the tribal war which dominated political discourse online and offline.
There's no issues around there. Everything is cool and calm. There's no problem, and everybody understands that there's no problem. And the area is a residential area, not like other areas. That's why you can see all of us, the different parties here, but we stay together. But we still work. But there's no issues. It's all about choice. So we understand to the level of choice.
I just walked in and voted and I'm done. So I guess it's much better than the last time. That's why I actually came late, because the last time for the presidential I came very early and I wasted almost like 3 hours before I could vote. This one is much better, and they didn't have to start looking for my name in that long sheet. It just the Beavers just accredited me, and then I went straight to.
I believe this is a more seamless one than the first one. That is bound to happen because you see, we were introduced to a new technology, and the technology will have its own backside too. So this is why you've seen that after getting hold of it in the first election, then it is seamless election now. And people just you verify, you either verify with your finger or you take your photograph, and it's verified, and you just go vote and go. That's why you don't see too many people. You don't see too many polling units crowded like the other time.
The last elections, we had an Igbo man on the ballot. We had the Southwest on the ballot. Achiwaju was on the ballot. In the North, we have Atiku. So vote according to we didn't quarrel with anybody for voting, for Igbo people voting Obi, or Yorubas voting Achiwaju, or the Hausas, Fulanis voting. We accepted that.
At the Bonny Camp Underbridge polling unit in Victoria Island, the large number of voters, comprising a large percentage of women, showed at the electorates were enthusiastic about performing their civic duty.
It's going on well so far, but there are still some traces of, vote buying and all sorts of, things related to that going on, even obviously. But the moment these guys come around, they tend to just keep it low and, pretend as if nothing is happening.
I think the other one was preferable. Yes, people came out the other one, the first one that they voted. People came out from that one, but this one, people came, but not that much. That's just it.
The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has condemned all acts of political violence. Speaking after he cast his vote in the governorship and State House of Assembly elections, Sanwo-Olu added that the electoral process is not supposed to be violent. Sanwo-Olu voted at Aye College 006 polling unit, St. Stephen's Nursery and Primary School at Deniji Adile, Lagos Island, around 10:30 a.m. The governor also praised the staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for arriving early to the polling unit as well as the turnout of voters. Sanwo-Olu is vying for a second term in office, having been voted into office for first term in 2019. He is in the contest with a number of candidates, including Gbadebo Rhodes Vival of the Labour Party and Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), amongst others.
It's a time for us as a people to see and to understand that this process is not meant to be a process of violence. Election that leads to a democratic process is the best form of a validation of what true democracy should be about. And so I want to reiterate again that this contest is about peace, is about progress, is about prosperity for our state and our country at large. And I want you all, gentlemen of the press, to continue to preach and to advocate for everyone to have the right to be able to express themselves freely, fairly, and transparently. I'm indeed happy driving here this morning that everywhere in the city looks calm. But there are a few disturbing videos that we've also seen where some parties, I'm told that they were doing one or two things which it's not verifiable, so I'm not going to talk about it, right? But truly, really, it's just to say that I'm excited and I'm happy to be here. And I want to ask that all of our voters, all of our citizens should just remain vigilant. You know, if you see anything, say something, and just all let's come out, you know, and exercise our right freely, devoid of any form of acrimony or any form of protest or any form of intimidation. That is not acceptable as a government.
The governor of Bayelsa State, Duoye Dire, has condemned the destruction of ballot materials in 4 wards of Constituency 2 in the Ogbiya local government area of the state by suspected thugs during the State House of Assembly elections. According to reports, the voting materials meant for Ogbiya wards 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the House of Assembly elections in the state were reportedly carted away by the armed men and hoodlums in the early hours of Saturday. The materials were also said to have been burned. Diri described the act as highly condemnable and warned those behind the electoral violence in the state to desist, as the full weight of the law would be brought down on the culprits. He called on the Commissioner of Police to arrest the perpetrators and ensure that anyone found culpable is brought to book.
Very early this morning, I got the reports about the burning down of INEC materials from the RAC Center in that local government area. And I'm going to issue a press statement on that. And I've called on the Commissioner of Police to fish out those who are responsible for that dastardly act and ensure that they are promptly arrested and prosecuted. And so we have that isolated case at Ogbiya local government area in constituency 2 only. But we are still monitoring developments across the state. I'm in touch with the INEC at the state level, and I'm in touch with the security agencies. And we will step up our game in terms of security across the whole state. There are pockets, isolated pockets of complaints here and there, and we're attending to all of those complaints, particularly complaints that have to do with security. And let me also use this opportunity to call on all of us who are in politics. You don't force people to be rude. You appeal to people and you court people to work with you. And so let us avoid the use of thuggery. Fortunately, we have beavers now. And so that is an antiquated political strategy that people are still trying to adopt in our state.
Well, for more analysis of incidences of electoral violence, Awal Rafsanjani, the Executive Director of Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, joins me now. As always, thank you for joining us. Now, we've received several reports of electoral violence in some states where elections were held. Given how far Nigeria has come in her democratic process, it's disappointing to say the least. Now, where do we go from here?
Well, this is happening simply because of growing impunity in the system. One people feel that they can violate the electoral law and even the law generally and get away with their own criminalities. The system will not work and it will not function. So the inability of the government to be able to hold people to account for what they are doing in terms of abusing the laws is what is giving rise to all this increase in political violence in the country. Secondly, the absence of political accountability is also one of the major reasons why you are seeing this kind of orchestrated violence. When people do all sorts of manner of political rascality, they are rewarded. For example, in Kano, somebody who did a lot in terms of killing or instructing people to kill people. He was arrested, and then it's not a bailable offense, but because of the power at the center, he was given bail, and the people who have been killed now, that's the end of them. No justice for them. So the injustice in the system is increasing the tension in the country. And when people commit these atrocities, they are celebrated. Definitely they will do more. So it's very disappointing that our political development in the country is only associated with violence, fraud, and corruption.
Now let's talk about solutions. What strategies must be explored to end electoral violence in our elections?
So we have laws that are supposed to be complied with, even though sometimes some of the laws we have need also strengthening. For example, people commit all sorts of atrocities, and it is the state attorney general who's supposed to prosecute them. And if he is not interested or she's not interested, then they will get away with their criminality. We have to find a way of ensuring that we have a special court that will try electoral offenses. Otherwise, the way things are going now is like there's incentives for committing atrocities when it comes to election and political processes in the country. This violence did not start today. It began right from the party primaries, and during the campaign, we've seen it also all over the country. Denial of access to facilities for opposition political parties, and now during the election, despite the fact that analysis have been put forward for government to mark those fault line places, but nothing has been done except where the government really wanted to take over that place. Then you see militarization of the places. But ideally, with the identification of the possible places where there might be possibility, there are potential of electoral violence, we expected the security to be manned there, and not also to go and be biased, but also to ensure that the violence are not allowed to happen. But you will see that the distribution of the security, is even not done, in a manner to prevent those things in many places.
Well, the Executive Director at the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, thank you very much for the conversation. We'll take a break now and return with more election updates. To stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerians to vote for their preferred candidates, even if politicians try to offer them money. President Buhari said this when he cast his vote at polling unit 003, Sarkin Yara in Daura, Katsina State. The president, who briefly spoke to newsmen both in English and Hausa languages, said his administration had been preaching against vote buying and monetization of politics, calling on politicians to desist from such acts. He again thanked the electorate for trusting the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections, where the party's candidate, Bola Tinubu, emerged winner.
Locally, at my own place, it's very encouraging. And I've been watching the television program. I'm pleased with the reaction in most constituencies. So I think we are going to get off lightly. I do not expect anything less because we have gone through the constitutional perspectives. We told Nigeria what we are going to do. We had a very free party election. A chairman emerged. He was experienced, 2 times governor, a senator. So there's nothing he doesn't know about Nigerian partisan politics. So I think Nigerians eventually trusted us because we mean what we say what we mean. We tell Nigerians that we are going to work for them, we are going to maintain trust, we will not allow anybody knowingly to steal their resources. We will make sure that we encourage them to send their children to school. We encourage them to have healthcare facilities, and we did our best, and I think Nigerians appreciated it.
Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have intercepted voter coupons, bales of fabric meant for voter inducement, and arrested a number of persons suspected to be involved in vote buying. The anti-graft operatives monitoring the ongoing governorship and state houses of assembly elections arrested individuals in Sokoto, Port Harcourt, Kebbi, and Kaduna connections with vote buying. The agency disclosed this in a statement on its official handle on Twitter on Saturday. It explained that 35 bales of fabric allegedly belonging to a principal officer of the Sokoto State House of Assembly was intercepted by the team of operatives on election monitoring assignment in Sokoto. The items have been moved to the Sokoto Zonal Command of the Commission pending the conclusion of the investigation. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed on Saturday says he will accept the outcome of the Governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The governor emphasized this in an interview with journalists shortly after casting his vote at Barkin Dutse polling unit 008 in the Yelwan Dogure Alkaleri local government area of the state. He commended the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for what he described as an improvement in the conduct of the polls, saying he was impressed with the exercise in his area. And that's the size of our package at this hour. Thank you for staying with us. I am Simisola Atiku. Bye for now.